I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a moment of silent prayer? Amen. Okay, it is the 4th of February already, 2025. We're in the Municipal Center. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Scott Murphy.
Here.
Susan Webster is here. Elizabeth Skinner is absent. Mary Lynn Hickey. McLeod.
Here.
Greg Sheen.
Here.
And David O'Connell.
Here. Okay, can we have the review of the minutes from the council meeting from January 21st? I'll take any additions or corrections and common consent from the council.
David, did your correction, because I sent the second.
Yeah.
If I correct, okay.
Yeah, you corrected.
Everybody okay with common consent?
Mm-hmm.
All right, common consent on that. All right, we have persons before council. We have Jan Wilkinson's here. She wants to discuss the German cemetery.
Yes.
So you have the floor.
Okay, and I'm here from the Foxglove Garden
Folks,
Club,
okay.
and this should be painless. I'm not asking for money. I'm not complaining about it. What I'd like your permission to do is for the Foxglove Garden Club to complete the work that we started in the German cemetery. You know, we've been working on, actually this project has been going on for 30 years now. And that's how long Foxglove has been undertaking this particular project. So back in 1995, we began with the restoration of the cemetery, which was pretty much abandoned at that point. We cleaned it all up and established markers for the 3 Revolutionary War soldiers that were buried here. And then as the years went on, you know, things happened and there was some erosion and settlement. And so a few years ago, we started adding some walls to the cemetery to prevent that erosion. And actually we ended up creating some more parking spaces down there on South Mercer Street. And so we'd like to complete the walkway that we started here. And this is a picture I just took today. So this is work that's been done by David Stoll, who's really a master stonemason. So he put in this walkway that goes about halfway into the cemetery, and it includes some very nice features. It stops at one of the markers, and then it also stops at a stone bench that he put in the cemetery. What I'd like to ask for your permission to do is to continue the walkway down to, starts at South Green Street, and we'd like to continue it down to South Mercer Street at our own expense. You know, all this work has been done with using our own funds, grants that we've applied for, fundraising that we've done for years. And we've done it slowly because we've done it as we've gotten money to do it. So that's my question. Would you all please grant us permission to hopefully continue this work, finish the walkway, and we may after that point be doing some leveling out the cemetery because it's kind of bumpy. And without disturbing anything, of course. And then also we're thinking about doing some publicity for the German cemetery so that we have a rack card that's over there in the visitor center that tells people not only about the gardens Foxglove does, but the German cemetery does. Because these days I understand cemeteries are under threat.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if you have revolutionary wars.
Yeah.
And I make a mention that we permit Foxglove Garden Club to continue their work in the Dutch cemetery.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to continue the work that the Foxglove Club is doing at the German cemetery.
I
Any
think
discussion?
they're doing a great job
Yes,
over there. It looks
absolutely.
so much better.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try and support you by improving the parking around that area too.
Yeah. I noticed as I pulled in this afternoon, it kind of drops
Yeah, it's
off.
quite a drop since we
Yeah.
paved that area, so we're looking into the budget to try and get that gravel in there and maybe eventually some pavement.
Trying to make a personal supporting statement for the German cemetery. I live basically across the street from there. And I moved to town here about 7 years ago. Aside from the country inn being one of the motivating factors in the Catholic Church. The cemetery was actually a motivation
Really?
for us to move in town
Mhm.
because of it was exactly that. We had history sitting right outside our door.
Yeah, and you'd be amazed how many people live very close to that cemetery and don't even know it's there.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely.
I really like the approach you've made over the last 7 years.
Yeah.
It's been delightful to watch.
Okay, well, I'll call the question. Oh,
I just want to question, which side of Mercer is because you've got the one side where the retaining wall and
Yeah,
stuff.
that-
Would it be the other
The
side
other
of the
side where
walkway?
there's that trellis.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just, Jan, on the, I don't know whose responsibility it is, but you've got the old, I guess it's metal, a metal fence with the chain link.
Oh,
with the chain
yeah,
on it. It's
yeah.
kind of going in different.
Sort of wonky. but-
Yeah, is that, there any plans to kind of correct that or
I
do
think
something
that
with
should
that?
be on our plan, yes, yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the things that was put in 30 years ago and over the time it's
Yeah.
got.
It was just to designate what is the cemetery
Yeah,
that should, be the graves.
Yeah, now we replaced a good bit of that with these stone walls.
Did
No,
you
beautiful.
do the interpretive signage there? Was that DAR?
I think the AR did that, yeah, we worked with them.
all right. Well, then I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You have our consent.
Carry
Go
on.
for it.
Who could be opposed?
No, nobody.
Upward and onward.
Yep,
Thank you.
good deal. All right. We're gonna move down to communications from Mayor. There's evidently gonna be a live music Saturday night at the Country Inn and the Naked Olive. Looks like Dennis Donaldson at the Country Inn and Josh Saunders at the Naked
Whatever
Olive.
it is.
So anybody that's interested in music, there's something you can do this weekend. We also have, looks like they got a foodie February in Berkeley Springs. Evidently they've got several participating businesses. So there's a flyer
Is this
there.
the Chamber of Commerce?
That is Chamber of Commerce, yes. So anyway, those are my two big announcements. Everything's moving along real well. We have had some things going on. We got most of it taken care of. Things with our last snowstorm that come through and everything. So we're good there. So let's move down to Bath Development. Don't have anybody for Bath Development, so
No, we don't, but Greg and I did talk a little bit about it. We've got to put our heads together since we did have the resignation of the president. It's been a little, somewhat haphazard. And there is value to their group. There really is. Greg and I recognize that our members of the group. So we're going to try to put some people together because this group, the Bath Development Authority, should in theory work very well and hand in hand with Farm Track, and should work hand in hand with the town of Bath in maybe distributing funds like we spoke of in the finance committee, or having things that spur business interest and like that. So I hope to in the future be able to. Greg and I put our heads together, and whoever else wants to get involved with this organization back up.
okay, good deal. On Track is 2/13, meeting February 13th to 30. Parks and Rec, see anybody, their next meeting is 2/12 at 5. Planning Commission.
Good evening. Planning Commission's 212 at 5. Hey, I had the opportunity last week to attend the Morgan County Planning Commission meeting, so I'm passing along a couple of topics from that venue that have either direct or indirect effect on the town. First one, there was a packed house to discuss some efforts going on up in Sleepy Creek Boys Camp. The owner of it was looking to expand. So it was a permit kind of issue. A lot of neighbors don't want it expanding. So it went back and forth, not really relevant directly to us, but the county took it as a sidebar, and they're really drilling down again in zoning was really the second order effect. So just know that the county is looking more, it's failed, I guess, twice in the or the county elections. But this highlighted one of those topics that zoning will be elevated from the planning commission back upstairs to the county commissioners as a topic to see if we're going to address it. So again, it's just a observation. Second, Bear Claw Estates got permitted there on Highway 9, about a mile and a half from town, and 8 single-family home development, well water. So that's the takeaway is no direct impact on us because it's outside our area of service, and they're all going to be digging wells. Another area that came up on the development side was they're discussing again. The county engineer was there. The need for a county inspector. And as we've talked about in this forum before, that if the county gets one, that may be an opportunity for the town to cooperate on that contract or lease if we deem that we want to tie into that initiative at that level. So again, for anybody who's interacting with the county at that level, that may be something worth pursue. Lastly, and Rebecca, this is primarily for you. They had the county engineer that was there, and they were talking stormwater requirements, the 10 versus the 25-year standard. And again, discussion about it. Appears the engineer was trying to reduce to the 10-year standard, or excuse me, to the 25-year standard, which I guess is smaller thing. And based on the study coming up, I thought you might need to be aware of that. So if you weren't, okay. So that and working groups continue each Monday. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Larry?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Okay, let's move down to Rails and Trails.
All right, in the unending attempt to have a virtual meeting, the next useful rail trail meeting will be my last rail trail. This is, I can tolerate 7 or 8 years of.
Good
So
way to put it.
at this point, we get a little bit, a door opens, we get a little bit of word from Charleston of what isn't working. And the next word comes that, they're gonna ask District 5 to do the bridges, which is unique, I think. So, but I haven't got an answer on what's sent for us, what about remediation, whatever. At some point, probably prior to the next meeting, because I don't think we're gonna make a lot of progress. I think it's time to basically ask for money back to remediate parcel planning. We cannot keep our LRS on for long, close to the 5 years anyway. And it's time to ask. The town has no skin in that game because just the way it worked. But that would be stripping some money out, which Rebecca and I would have to come up with a reasonable estimate, which would be nothing like they were going to pay for it in the first place. To pull money back, including the county match, give it to town to remediate it so you can get on with things. Because right now, it's kind of a little limit.
Here, here.
So I think, and I'll get permission from you folks to do this. But I think it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And just kind of warn them without actually telling. So, and if the February meeting isn't gonna have enough in it to warrant having a meeting, I'll move it on to March. But just so you know, that's going to be my last meeting. I'd like to do something with my last meeting, short of just walking out.
Is there any dialogue going on with them right now, Pete, in regard to that?
With getting the money back? Yeah, not really, but I could start to just open it up with Tim and Mark down at DOH, because they understand to some degree. We're kind of reputable up here. Their great plans have fallen apart at every stage.
Yeah.
We really ought to give the county permission to contract the job. And just
Okay,
hand
yeah,
over their
done.
share of
Right.
the money that they have, because it'll get done.
Yeah.
For the whole,
Yeah.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah,
It
there's a
would
lot of
be a lot of
steps.
savings.
There's a lot of steps that we can put on the table. If the county want to do this, we need a little internal meeting. Anybody else shows up, but that's want to do the whole thing.
Right.
Now, whether there's enough money to do the whole thing, I don't know.
If it's the source of federal money, they're perfectly fine having
awarded.
Yeah.
How much money will we get back just for the remediation?
We'd have,
Like
we
ballpark?
don't have a number because of the way they've done their estimates. I
Oh,
can't peer into the opaque box they set up.
okay.
We
Sort of
come up with our
bundles.
own estimate, and that wouldn't be difficult, because we've done, and we've got a good relationship with US Silica, where we have certified fill that gets,
It's likely to be less than
and we have a lot of bricks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say it would be less than, definitely less than.
We have gravel that we have to put in, but they have gravel up there, they give us a big.
So, and they have, I'm not sure how much money they have left because you look at the funding agreements and stuff, some of that money was spent on HDR, the designer, and wasn't available to do coordinating.
Mm.
They have a.
So solving for X is not a linear exercise. Understood.
Nor would it be steady from day to day.
Hey, okay.
Phases of the moon. Alright, so just so, now I'm gonna talk with.
that's pretty good.
I'm gonna talk with Joel and Bill about this bike off last week. Yeah. So they understand what I'm likely to pull. See what we
You
get
tried that before and they pulled you back in.
done. No, it was never this strong. This is, that's the last week, Pete Brown. What do you wanna do?
Yeah.
After that, I just was counting on, I'll always help. Whatever, but this time.
Enough's enough.
This time, yeah.
Yeah.
So Pete, from a transition point of view, aside from you putting on the table that you're basically leaving, have you had any succession planning?
No, except it should be a county person.
It should be
It should be a county person.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you roll into what's waiting in the wings, the directly spending for
Right.
the trailhead. and such like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's a county grant. So,
That's the way it all started out.
yeah,
We got to kind of.
somehow they gotta put some skin
Yeah,
in
the
it.
state wanted us involved with depot, with the trailhead.
Well, yeah, we wanted to be involved.
Right, we
and
want-
should be involved in the
But
state.
enough's
is-
enough, man. It's
Well,
just
yeah,
probably
the
out
state's
from there.
already invested about $1 million into the depot and the depot property. You would think that they
Plus all the
would
other
want
grants.
to, you would think that they would want to expand on their investment that they put in there. Now, TBS is in there, and that's great at this point, but you've got at the beginning of wonderful.
One agency doesn't talk to the other. DEP wants us to finish the remediation. DOH, what
Just
they're.
kind of out there, so. All right, we know
All right.
what you.
Moving on.
We're not accepting, but we know.
Well, I mean, it's, at some point we gotta have,
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that's your comment.
and I don't actually have, to, I just want to help people get a plan. So that I can get on
Life.
whatever I have left in my life.
Thanks. That's cheery.
Well, Pete, thank you very much.
I'm, I'm still semi-immortal.
Yeah.
I've not killed myself.
You haven't fell on the sword yet.
I tried some years ago. That was a long time.
Jumping out of planes.
Yeah. The parachute's mostly open.
Evidently, they opened every time because you're still standing,
Yeah, but I needed help.
That's fine.
That's when they came and told me I should find something else to do.
Streetscape.
My mother never knew I was doing this until I stopped doing it, but still suppresses.
Smart move.
All right, streetscape. We had a try to be entertaining. We had a nice walkthrough this morning with
Yep.
Scott and Eric from the company showed up with Scott. I am working on with Jeff Dole getting the ramp access to the ADA parking space. I am also starting some research on why, whatever happened to that sidewalk, how did it happen? Because I talked to Jeff Dole, and he says, "Oh, that happens a lot."
You mean the scuffing or
Yeah. The surface thing.
oh, that.
It has
Yeah.
something to do with, I don't know enough about this yet, but basically, how, when it was poured, what was the temperature, was it raining, did they put down black plastic, and then how did they put the curing thing on? And what Jeff Goldis says was, as soon as you get plastic on it and it rains, water gets under it,
Yes.
plastic sits on it, and it's like
And it was
adding texture to your woodworking.
Yep.
What's that? What's
That's
that?
exactly what
It
it
has,
was.
it's sort of a model.
It's not as bad as Congress Street with all that scraping, but it's got a
It's got, and
model.
and they all say, oh, it wears. So I've asked Josh, Jeff, come on, give me some real facts, but what
Right.
happens here, or what will happen.
And what we can do to smooth it out.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right
real-
now, they set time, and traffic, which to get every pedestrian. think of. No, I will get you something. But it's like,
Which sidewalk is it?
it's right next to Hundred
Yep,
Square.
right there.
Right where we put the two downspouts.
They
Yeah.
poured it right before they left, and it was,
It
the
was-
temperature was fluctuating up and down,
It
and
was
then
raining, it had everything bad, but they.
But it's just got where you can run your foot along it. It's
Yeah.
just got kind of, I was down there, I was taking my foot doing that, and you can just feel where the whole way across, it's just, it's not humped, but it's got like
It's
not
it's
even.
texture.
it's texture.
So
And when they put that,
hardly anybody's gonna slip.
Right.
Yeah.
Does it look like you tried to do it and this is the way we want
like,
to do it?
No, no, no.
some of it looks like you
plaster.
took a paintbrush and just kind of.
No,
No,
the amended version is what the sidewalk. is on.
It's cosmetic.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
cosmetic.
That's it.
Yeah, that's not the real
This is,
problem.
this is.
That's
all
It is
right.
cosmetic.
Okay.
Okay, and no, they didn't get to pour the corner down here. That was the plan, that was the best day to do it. But as Eric said, the line in concrete place, as soon as the temperature went up, got fantastic. And the guys that do the tests for the compression tests, they can't handle all the folks that are out there pouring concrete today.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
just-
they had a concrete truck up there. Did they pour any of
I
it?
didn't see anything. They may have gotten, I didn't walk down it, but they may have gotten on the far side. of
Right.
Independence.
They did have a concrete truck.
Well,
He
then-
did show up.
Well,
when
then
I
they
could-
got something. I would
Yeah.
say it would be on the south
It
side.
was
I'll
there.
take a look.
It was there a while earlier after we all
Yeah.
left.
And then the other good news is we broke free the funding agreement for the design of Phase 6.
Oh, good.
That night, they got a copy of it. I just tell, please send me a copy so we don't have to send you back the bad one when you mail it to us. They had some significant errors. That was sent that Friday afternoon, they were back Monday morning. I checked in to see if they got it, and if they're back, we should see it within a week or so. And I don't think there's any difficulties with that. We have the money. It's a $70,000 design grant. Our share is 14 for the town. The grant has been awarded. It's in the DOH system, out of the feds. So I don't know if anybody can claw that back.
They haven't been talking to the Department of Transportation yet.
You know,
We want to get that signed right away.
so, well, that's it.
Right.
It is, but the point is when you sign it, and
It's-
you get a resolution from the council, along with it goes a check from the town for $13,000. It goes into the big maw down in Charleston. Hopefully, it becomes usable.
Right.
We have the task order with Thrasher, signed by Thrasher, ready to go. So, but we have to wait forever. We do the thing here, we send them the check, it goes with the DOH. DOH has to check it with the federal highway people in order to get an authority to proceed. We at Thrasher do nothing until we get that authority to
Right.
proceed. That's months away. Remember, I said, I'd stick with this until that design is done.
Right.
So,
All right, Pete, any questions for Pete?
No.
All right, I just want to let you know, you got a little letter in. Pete's gonna be slowing down. Pete, I really appreciate everything you've done. You stepped in when Larry stepped out, and you stepped in and you took the bull by the horns with Rebecca and everybody else on the Streetscapes Committee. I appreciate it. You don't know how much. There's been times I've called him and said, like this last project, it's not right, Pete. Something's wrong. Something's not right here. And he says, I'll meet you in the morning. He shows up and we go do our thing, or same thing I know Rebecca has done. Pete, from the bottom of our hearts, we really appreciate it. I really don't want to take this, but you know, I understand where you're at.
You can ignore it.
It's a phased return.
Well, you
Yeah,
notice
yeah,
that-
he's spaced out little by little.
That was the way, in technical communities, that's how you do it.
Right.
You don't just turn the switch off and leave. There's
A way to,
there's a wage down there.
yeah. So, but you'll be, like I said, when you're out, you'll be sadly missed. I can guarantee you. You know, it's just like, you know, with Larry and Sally and everybody else. I mean, they were sadly missed. I mean, you know.
Sally moved to Florida
And
and we
she
didn't
was-
let her go.
Yeah, she was still doing things back
That
and
was a
forth.
phased return.
You know, Larry with the Fairfax. I mean, he was down there every
know.
morning. He was down there every morning, and you know, so we've honestly have great people that have come to our town, our county, with a lot of great enthusiasm and with a lot of great talent. Yes, very much so. So like I said,
And a desire to help the community.
Absolutely.
Be better.
absolutely, and I can't say any more, people. We're very thankful. You have made this whole thing go around in the phases that you've been involved with. I know there's been times where you just a little bit of hair you got left, like me, you're just ready to rip it out and say, okay, I'm ready to run now. So
I thought we sensed about you that the challenge was enticing. There's something that was, oh, you think you're gonna
was.
do that?
Yeah.
Well, that was, it's the, how can I beat this big DOH organization?
Yes.
well, you beat them several times. I
Well,
can tell
I
you.
mean, I would say the thing that I am most disappointed of was you ended up paying the fine.
No,
for the-
But we tried. It's
Boy,
not
I'll
like
tell you, that's it. We tried.
yes.
And I discovered a whole bunch of honor in the DOH.
yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Yeah.
Say no more, we got it.
Yeah. Like I
Thank
said.
you, Pete.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
understand.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Thank you. And as I said, what's the difference? Instead of like now, when I just don't wait for anything, I can figure out what to do and go get it done. I'll wait. There's somebody to ask.
Yeah, Rebecca.
You're not always
So we thank you, Pete.
And-
Thanks for the report. Thanks for staying on
appreciate
top
that.
of everything
We'll
like-
get your house later.
and withdrawing papers.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
got
let's.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks
Thanks,
for your
Pete.
patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care of this.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's move on. Train Depot.
Train Depot. Well, all that I can say about that right now is that the Depot Committee is continuing to meet and to discuss exhibits in the depot and things like how to make it more usable for the public and like this without harming any of the historic character. That's a number one with us. So there are a couple challenges, as with any older building. So we're working with Travel Berkeley Springs and another committee on that. So that's what we're doing.
All right, Land Use Commission. Nobody here. Okay, clerk and reporters report. Madam Clerk, do you have any?
I just wanted to make people aware that the auditors will be here on the 14th to conduct their annual audit.
Valentine's Day.
They're starting on a Friday.
Will they be back or finished in one day?
No, they should conduct.
Did we talk to them about the direct cost?
Yes,
Can they do that?
no, but they can help me.
Is there anything else we want to use? Could we talk about finance that you want to bring up? Maybe not.
There's nothing.
All right.
No.
Okay. All right, we don't have any, building permit acknowledgements, no property use, let's move down, pay some bills then.
Make a motion that we pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $12,917.99.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the, town of Bath bills in the amount of $12,917.99. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make a motion that we pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $50,503.80.
Second,
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterwork bills in the amount of $50,503.80. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make a motion that we pay the hotel motel fund distribution in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to pay the hotel motel distribution in the amount of $1,000 even. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right. Anything else for finance?
We have a budget revision or no?
No.
It's on the agenda.
Next week.
Okay.
She has
Oh, that's right.
All right, well, let's move on down to tree board then.
There's nothing to report at this point.
Okay. Good enough. Grant?
Thank you, Scott. So a quick update from the minutes that are in our packet today. It was determined, Rebecca actually looked into this. We're not eligible for the grant money that Region 9 had recommended for the street lights. So, I let them know that and we're back to the drawing board for that, but we'll keep an eye out for funding if we can find something.
but we might be able to use it for other lighting, but we have to talk to Tompkins about that, whether we could get them to change out some of these sodium vapor lights for retrofits. So I don't know if we have
Yeah.
enough time.
She wasn't sure that you could use it just for the switching out the flow, like the,
Yeah, that's energy efficiency.
yeah,
It's an energy efficiency.
yeah.
It's not the bulbs, it's the fixtures, the lamps.
Got it. Okay, so that's what happened with that, and we'll see if we can repurpose the potential of that money for what Rebecca just mentioned. The Appalachian Forest Grant, we did get half of that money from the grant was received. We also have the hotel motel money, and we are using that for our new website. The first organizational meeting was held last Friday and was very productive. Myself, Greg Sheen, and Sharon and Bree from town staff, and we got a lot done and we're hitting the ground running. The time frame for that work is approximately 6 months. They will build the frame, and when it's ready to go live, it'll just, when you put in the website address, you will be taken to the website. So we're very excited about that and all the potential that it will bring. The COPS grant is on hold for now. We're not going to hire a third officer until we get a second officer. When I applied for that grant, I did detail that we had 2 full-time officers. You can't use the money to swap out for a vacancy. It has to be for augmentation of your existing force. So we have 5 years to use that money, and we'll use it when we are positioned with 2 full-time staff on the police department to then add a third. So that's the update for that. 2 cyber grants. One submitted cyber grant for police computers. That is from the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security, and one on deck that we just became aware of this week. It's a cyber grant for the water department, and that is from the West Virginia Department of Health. I've just started to explore that because we got the grant notice this week, but if we are eligible, we will submit for that grant as well. In addition to those opportunities, we continue to look for sources of funding for traffic calming signs and surveillance cameras. to put right along Washington Street. That would be a great help to our police department, and also get people to slow down a bit with traffic calming signs. And then in addition to that, pending the completion of the professional engineering work process for the water utility, we will be seeking funding for capital improvements for water. So that's what we've got on deck with grants. And our next meeting is on Monday, February 10th at 4:30.
Alright. Any questions? Mary? All right. Move on to public safety. Right now, we have a meeting coming up on the 12th, next Wednesday. So we'll be meeting here on the 12th. Don't have any other updates right now. So anyway, we'll go from there. Do you have anything that you need to talk about, being the administrator upstairs?
No, I don't have it.
Okay. All right, let's move on down to cemetery. Beth isn't here. So their next meeting is the 25th of this month at 9 a.m. here at Town Hall.
She is doing the organization for the Make It Shine program in the cemetery. And I expect the next time she'll ask for dates. I don't believe she's asked for dates.
No, we've got information in our package there, so.
If
All
I
right.
can speak on Beth's part, we, Rebecca and myself and Beth have been working to set up some organizational structure for the cemetery corporation as well as the committee, and trying to get straight who does what. And we're trying to come up with the how Public Works is going to be involved in currently and how in the future. So we do have things that are happening, and that will be discussed further in our next meeting on the 25th.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dave. Thanks. All right, Public Works.
Good Works is, coming along nicely, and I see I have the Make It Shine.
Yes, you do.
So Make It Shine is a statewide effort to clean up areas, and the cemetery participates every year with a cemetery cleanup, which is good because that gets the cemetery ready for mowing. And we usually have a good turnout there with Boy Scouts and other volunteers. The Warm Springs Watershed Association also participates. We're in the process of selecting a location. So if anybody has an illegal dump or an area where there's a lot of trash, we'd love to hear about it. We're considering the area that's just upstream from the town because the run goes out of Banks there. Look at that. We know there's probably a lot of garbage and plastic bags. So if you got some ideas, let us know.
All right. Any questions for Rebecca?
Just a point to note on the Make It Shine, at least from the Warm Springs point of view, next Wednesday, we're going to be meeting to get some organization together for that. So I believe you know the person. I believe it is Alan. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Good deal. All right, well, we'll move on down to ordinance. Great.
Thank you. Just have, a few things. We're continuing our discussion on vacant, dilapidated buildings in town, fair process to see that they're remediated, torn down, there's some action taken to these properties. To identify them and move forward with that action. The ordinance for reserve parking, we're continuing that discussion as well. There's quite a bit of detail work that needs to be done. And most recently, we're in the very early process of developing a public transportation plan. Again, this is very early. We will meet collectively. We are talking to the executive director for the West Virginia Department of Public Transportation, and they will be visiting the town second week in March. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
And the next meeting on the 20th at 4 p.m.
Any questions for Greg? All right, let's move on down to waterworks then.
Waterworks. Let me start off with the good news first, usually.
Always like good news.
First thing,
They have been good news.
yeah, we got a
Oh,
good
boy.
thing. The weekend of the 20th and through the 22nd is going to be water tasting at the Country Inn. And I understand the Rick Mayu, the superintendent of the water company, is going to be one of the judges. So he's all excited about that.
Good deal.
Preliminary
Rebecca
judge?
has, what's
A
that?
preliminary judge.
A preliminary judge.
Is that what he's doing or is he?
I
like,
have no
one of
idea.
the-
All I know is he's a judge, you know? He's got his hat on and everything, you know?
He's gonna have to forego the,
That's really,
I'm not sure about this.
so he's excited. Rebecca has made a label for our bottle so that we're gonna be well represented. So it's a rather cute label. Modeled very much like that Tonabat symbol there. So kind of that symbol with Berkeley Springs Water Works, right, which is kind of cool. And so the bottle, I believe, is gonna be like a,
It's the tasting bottle,
this-
so that they
Okay.
put on the tasting table, so it'll be, cause it, I don't think he had a good sign.
That's good.
the bottle always does it. It's a big marketing point, you know? So, additional point is this, actually, I think it's Thursday, 2/6 is when our closing date for accepting, the qualifications, or request for qualifications is wrapped up. We also finished up, I believe it was last week, to do all the plant tours. And we've had so far about, I think it's between 10 and 12 interested parties. from-
Wow.
So I'm
That's
very
good.
impressed with,
So you get to make a real
The turnout.
choice.
yeah. And the nice thing, and I think I've said it before, the nice thing that it's coming about by getting these different points of view is a different take of, you know, you could do things this way, you could do things that way. One of those things, which was a big item, was how did we want to handle the filtration system? Filtration system is a very expensive piece of equipment that just to do the plant upgrades, we were thinking, I believe, just the pipes, the faucets was gonna cost us like 450,000. So it's a $500,000 upgrade. And one of the engineering firms said, well, consider microfilters, which I'm not quite sure why they're faster. It may be that it operates under pressure as opposed to just gravity. But the issue was that it would be doubling our daily capacity in the same amount of geography. So instead of spending 400 or basically $500,000 to upgrade the existing equipment, consider $2 million for, while it's a more expensive option, but greatly increase our capacity. So that kind of perspective is a good, for the pain of going through it and allowing for a lot of people to give their input, that has its real big values. And I think that's all I want to comment on.
All right, Dave. Any questions for Dave? All right. We've reached the end of our agenda. I will ask the council members, is there anything else that we need to bring up at this meeting?
Dave and I attended a meeting, a pre-construction meeting for the Warm Springs Public Service District
Mhm.
Yesterday. They are going to be starting their inflow and infiltration project on Visor Street and Route 9. And we made it a point to tell them that they needed to come in and get their business license if they're gonna be working in town, which they will. And that they needed to meet with our public safety and public works department. There will be some street closures. So Route 9's a state route, part of Visor Street is taken care of by, or supposed to be taken care of by DOH. I don't think it is, but we want everybody aware, and when we get some more information, we can put it on our website for the residents up there, because it's gonna be a little bit of a hassle for a while. The good news is, though, after the work is done, we'll get some pavement on Visor Street, which would really, yes.
For everybody's edification on terms of length of project, now, of course, the whole street and 9 is not gonna be locked up for this time period, but it's a 9-month project. So it's quite a bit of time. I'm so looking forward since I live right on by there.
And we'll be doing the stream crossing as well, and, we'll keep an eye on that.
Like, those poor people have no idea what they're getting into, but they live in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's the funder for this
The nice
program,
thing-
for this work?
So
It's rural development, and they
Oh.
were there, and I spoke to them afterwards about possible loans and grants, and I got a couple of cards.
USDA,
Great.
Nice thing about it is we're not sponsored, so I mean, there's no to run if you something wrong.
Well, I did mention to their engineering firm is Thrasher, and I did mention it to, their project leader that, you know, we were under a consent order, and right after we had received our, requirement, the county had one too, for the, fish kill. So they needed to be especially careful about
Yes.
sediment control.
Yeah.
They only have an NPDES permit. They said they weren't required to get a 401, even though they're crossing yellow
they're
line.
crossing the creek. I have to say, I'm a little concerned, and it's because I live in the area. I do know that there's a half dozen properties that have sewer lines that cross the creek, and they're not even considering that in the project. So I'm a little bothered with that. And I'm actually concerned that they may end up with cost overruns, because if those sewer lines are part of the I issue, then there's something that's gonna have to be done with it. And I'm sure the homeowner will not be thrilled with having an expense on their. put on
Should
their
at a
doorstep.
minimum alert the homeowners with whom they have not talked to yet and haven't published a map yet for the homeowners. So that if they did want to upgrade their system at the time, it would be better when it's torn up,
It would be ideal, but that wasn't in the works from my understanding.
right? So we should try to get a map out of them as soon as we can for our residents, so they're aware.
We also need to build gates to that line going across the run. Because if something happens, I guess I never thought about it, but we signed that.
It's
letter
going
of-
to cross the run, and I'm not clear at all where it's crossing the line, where it's
Because
crossing
they,
over tonight.
if they mess up the sediment, we could end up getting fined again.
But it's not our project, so
Yeah, it's not our project. We signed a letter of,
We're under a consent order.
Right.
When we see
so
anything,
we have,
we have to get
Yeah.
that 1-800 number. It would be a good idea to publish the 1-800 number on our Facebook page or on our website so that all of our residents understand that if they see something, they can notify DEP about a potential violation or something that's out of the ordinary. They had the pre-construction meeting in a conference room, which is never a good thing. And I asked them if they had planned a meeting on site. They have not at this time. We want to get our public works guys and waterworks, because some of our lines may be impacted as well.
Yeah, I have a lesser concern about that issue, but yes. I mean, it's very, obviously, there's gonna be places where it crossed the line. From a water company point of view, Pfizer Street's problematic.
They have leaks.
Rockwell, up above there, leaks all the time. In fact, we've terminated a line that comes from Rockwell down past the basketball court. That thing was always breaking. So I've lived here 7 years, and there's been at least 2 or 3 times, as well as Pfizer flooding 3 times. So it's a problematic area. One of the things that I know that I called it out, that the storm drain should be at least, that they should realize that if they're going to put a sewer line by it, but they seem to be insensitive to it. So at least it was put on the table. It is an area where Pfizer ends up getting all the damage. It's right where that storm drain is. It's at the low point.
but we just need to be vigilant.
I think it's a good idea, and I commend Rebecca. She usually has strong voice in those kind of meetings, which is very good. I think we need to be sensitive to a project that's on our turf. We need to make sure, not that we want to be a pest, but we need to be aware and make sure. things go
Absolutely.
Well.
We don't have collateral damage.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, it affects our residents, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be it.
And it also affects our run if they want to cross.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So, you know, so I mean, we need to be very vigilant. So, all right.
I got
Okay.
one more thing. I just wanted to send out, just support to, we don't, it's not in town, but we all have patronized the Pool Font Resort at some point. And since we last met, they had that horrible fire and they have staff who are now out of work and they, the Ohms family who owns it is planning to rebuild.
Yes.
But I saw a picture on Facebook today. I mean, the main, if you just see the chimney, that's it. The rest of it's gone. So, that's a big loss in the community and just wanted to, lift that up for appreciation.
I'm just glad that they're considering it. They're going to rebuild.
Yeah, and that there was no loss of life.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
That night, they were, the people around were upset and oh, what we can do this so well. They're very stoic family.
Yeah.
We are rebuilding and it will be better.
They're doers.
They're
Yeah, they're doers.
doers.
They're definitely doers.
They're
Yes.
builders. They're,
Mhm.
you know, and so that is, they're strong.
I'm just glad that they, you know, are going to, you know, because that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid that they wouldn't rebuild it.
they expect, I think I read, it's like they're planning a timeline of about 9 months to get it done.
They're actually going to get their cabinets. It's all on Facebook that they're opening up, I guess, 25th of this month.
Right.
Where their
Some
pool
parts of
area
it,
is.
yes,
Some
they'll
of
make
it,
that
so
the
they're-
reception area.
They're going to come back and it's
Right.
going to be great. So it's good things coming to our
But wish them all the
community.
best.
Absolutely. So, all right. Anything else? If not, I will open it to anybody in the public that wants to speak. You have 3 minutes. Anybody wants to talk to council? If not,
You had your chance.
all right.
There you go.
Common consent? Common consent to adjourn?
Yes.
So moved.
Hi, I'm Larry. Mary.